Red skin, massive horns, fiery eyes, a spear in hand, and goat legs. A being sworn to lead humanity astray. When you think of Satan, one of these classic images comes to mind, doesn't it? But have you ever wondered, where did this terrifying figure come from? Who created this image? And more importantly, why? This week, I'm taking you on a journey into one of history's darkest secrets. By the end of our journey, you'll ask yourself this question: was the story we were told a complete lie? If you're ready, let's begin. People usually make a huge mistake. They think Satan and Iblis are the same thing. But these two concepts are completely different. And this confusion is no accident. It's a carefully crafted system designed to deceive you. Do you know the root of the word Satan? It means opposition, hostility, rebellious community. Yes, you heard that right. Community, not a single entity. In the Quran, the word Satan is used with different meanings. Sometimes it refers to human groups hostile to Islam, sometimes to communities of jinn. And jinn simply means foreigner, not from here. In those days, Arabs living in Mecca would call someone from Jerusalem a jinn. The situation is similar in the Torah. Satan is not an individual, but a general concept describing beings with evil habits. Let me explain with a simple example. You have a vineyard, your neighbor got jealous, came at night and damaged it. That person has now become Satan to you. The concept is that simple. So who is this being we keep hearing about? The first entity of evil, the rebel? Now we're diving into the depths. According to Abrahamic religions, the first evil entity we encounter is Iblis. He appears repeatedly in the Quran, and each time he's presented as a singular individual. You know the story. When Allah created humanity, He commanded all the angels to prostrate to them, to accept this new being. But one single angel refused to obey, Iblis. According to some religious scholars, Iblis's real name is Azazel, meaning man strengthened by God. He's said to be one of the archangels. The word Iblis is thought to come from the Greek diablos, meaning chief evil. But here's the interesting part. There's no clear information about Iblis in the Quran. To learn the details, we need to look at the Torah. In the Torah, the equivalent of Iblis and Azazel is the famous angel Samiel. Samiel's meaning is shocking, God's poison. In the Torah, he's generally referred to as the angel of death, because Samiel is God's hitman. But Samiel is a very interesting character. While some Jewish and Christian circles define him as an evil entity, for those who like to research, he represents something entirely different. The transition between pre-ancient Abrahamic good-evil belief and the symbolic good-evil that followed. And there's one definition used in the Torah that will take us to a completely different story. A being who doesn't listen to God's words and questions Him. This is the concept we're looking for. And this concept leads us to history's most mysterious character, Lucifer, meaning bringer of light. Isn't that strange? How can the name bringer of light be used for Iblis, the Lord of Darkness? Because they're truly incompatible. Lucifer's foundation and mythology are completely different. Now I'm going to drop the real bomb. Remember the definition of Satan in the Torah, the one who questions God. With this definition in mind, let's travel back in time to where history began, Sumer. According to Sumerian belief, the Anunnaki rule the world. This isn't fantasy, it's serious Sumerian belief. Humans and Anunnaki lived together. In the Anunnaki hierarchy, world management belongs to Enlil. But there's Enki, the god who created humanity, warned his child about the flood, and ensured their survival. Enlil wanted humans to always remain just slaves, simple beings afraid of the Anunnaki. But Enki wanted the being he created to progress and develop. He repeatedly objected to Enlil's decisions. He rebelled. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? According to some historians, humans were initially less intelligent creatures. Then Enki manipulated our genetic structure and brought us to an advanced level. This is the event that opened humanity's mind. When Enlil sees humans becoming wiser, he gets angry because he realizes they'll now know things they shouldn't know. They'll become like the Anunnaki, and the flood comes. Just like the story in the Quran, Enki warns one of the humans and tells him to build a ship. You'll see the same narrative in Hindu, Egyptian, and South American mythologies. The story is the same everywhere. Only the names and symbols change. So what happened after the flood? This conflict between Enlil and Enki transforms in written history into the war between God and the evil beings who rebel against him. The most influential mythology after Sumer is ancient Greece, and they embellished and multiplied the information they received from Sumer. Enlil became Zeus, Enki became Prometheus. And here's the critical point. Prometheus, cursed by the gods, is actually humanity's greatest friend. Prometheus' story goes like this. He himself created humans from clay and mud, just like in the heavenly books. But Zeus wanted humans to only obey, to remain primitive. Prometheus didn't allow this. He saw the potential in the humans he created and wanted to liberate them from Zeus's tyranny. For this reason, he stole fire from the gods and secretly gave it to humanity. He enabled their development and enlightenment. Here, fire symbolizes knowledge, just as the apple tree will represent wisdom in the religious books written later. So what happened to Prometheus, who enlightened humanity and saved them from being slaves who only obey Zeus? He was cursed as a rebel, expelled from Mount Olympus, punished with endless torture and pain. This is Enki's story in Greek mythology. But the story doesn't end here. Pay attention. In pre-Abrahamic belief systems, you won't encounter a mega evil figure called Iblis who rules hell. Surprising but true. There are beings defined as evil, but they have functions that maintain the balance of existence. Set in Egyptian mythology, chaos. Some beings in Mesopotamia, disease and misfortune. Ahriman in Persian mythology leads to negative things. Hades in Greek mythology leads to god of the underworld. Iblis, and in its misused form, Satan, are presented to us today with all these different concepts collected in a single entity. This is an extremely wrong usage, both etymologically and mythologically. Christianity is a religion created by combining paganism and ancient mythology. And these folks wanted to take the principle of not questioning that started with Judaism one step further. To do this, they showed the heroes described in the past, symbols of rebellion against injustice, as evil. And for 2,000 years, this story has been told. Not one of the billions of believers has stood up and asked, why is a being whose name wasn't even mentioned before Christianity, meaning bringer of light, described as evil? Because if they did, they would encounter this truth. Lucifer is a figure from Greek mythology that was marketed and created after Christian corruption. In other words, Enki, who once sacrificed himself for humanity, who didn't want Zeus to make them slaves, who rebelled so they wouldn't be wiped out in the flood. Christians show you as Satan as Iblis. Let me remind you again. Satan is a general concept, a way of behaving, not an individual. Iblis is the evil entity in Islam, Samiel in the Torah. But Christianity also brings Lucifer before us, and the reason behind it is simple: to continue the system of slavery. Showing you Lucifer as Satan is actually elevating a concept that corrupt religions have been doing to people for years. Don't question, don't research, obey whatever you're commanded. Because you are a servant, a slave. Otherwise, you'll become a rebel, and you'll be subjected to eternal torment, just like Prometheus suffered. Those who give you this message don't want humanity to progress, just as they haven't for thousands of years. They want us to remain slaves. Now let's wrap things up because it's been a long and confusing journey. Don't think that the Allah we believe in is Enlil and Satan is Enki. That would be a wrong approach, because the Lucifer incident is a concept created only within Christianity. Throughout history, the entire concept of symbolism was built on the ancients seeing technological things they didn't understand as magic, and most of the time as divine abilities. In religions and their books, these issues have become intertwined. Their meanings have shifted, and they're explained in complicated ways due to the destruction and changes that have occurred over the years. But there's a bitter truth this story tells us. If there really is a celestial assembly, according to what's said, a large group called demons have been enemies to us for a long time. And if these are really aliens, we're in big trouble. Fortunately, when we set out with the same logic, there's also a group protecting us. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been possible for us to come this far. The real question is this: will the great war between good and evil, said to take place on the Day of Judgment, be a war between these two different alien races for the salvation or extinction of humanity? We'll all see this one day. I tried to cover the subject as simply as I could. If we go into details, we'll get lost in it. There are big videos on the channel. You know I treat them like puzzle pieces, so you can chart your own research path by watching other videos and taking notes. Until we meet in the next video, take care of yourself and don't follow the devil. Let's meet in the comments. We're curious about your thoughts. And remember, some doors, once opened, cannot be closed again. Some knowledge should not be learned. Some names should never be spoken.